up guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel where we talk about money and mindset as well as my family's own journey to pay off six-figure debt. So if you like videos like that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button down there so you don't miss any new videos. Today we are talking financial priorities at age 35. So I feel like a lot of people who talk about personal finance on YouTube who have more than like 1,000 subscribers are really successful. Like they've already accomplished so much. They are out of debt, they are making tons of money, and they're just hitting these financial goals like boom, 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 and they're really on track and just great examples of the ideal kind of financial scenario for themselves or for their family. And that is wonderful. They should be so proud of that. They are examples. They're so motivating and encouraging. And I think it's great that people are out there doing that. However, that is not the reality for all of us. Some of us, for example, me, are almost 35 and barely have anything saved for retirement and have tons of debt. So today I thought I would talk about a realistic financial order of priorities, if that makes sense, for somebody who's 35 who doesn't have all their shit together. Because I feel like that's the reality more for most people out there than the alternative, which is having like all your stuff all on track and everything like that. So at 35, the way I prioritize my finances with debt and investing and all that other good stuff. So there's really kind of three buckets that I think of when it comes to personal finance and how I prioritize my money and where my money goes. Like first, second, third, what are the priorities? So first of all is emergency fund and sinking funds. That is the number one priority. So emergency fund is obviously like just what it sounds like. It's a pile of money for emergencies. I like to have at least 1 month of necessary expenses in our emergency fund. Ideally, when we're debt free, we'll bump that up to 3 to 6, maybe even 12 months. But for now, 1 month of expenses is what makes me feel comfortable. And especially when inflation is high and we've got debt, I'd rather put my money towards debt payoff or investing than have too much money sitting in savings while we're in debt. In addition to the emergency fund, I mentioned sinking funds. That's kind of like an extension of our emergency fund. So that's money we set aside every single month for Christmas, for car maintenance, for house maintenance, for personal spending, all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of like a buffer on top of our emergency fund that I also like to prioritize. If you're not familiar with sinking funds, I've made a couple videos about them, so I'll link them in the video description. And also I talk about them every single month in my budget videos, so you can learn more about how we do our sinking funds if you check out my budget videos that I post twice a month. Okay, so after the emergency fund and our sinking funds are in good shape, my next priority, because I'm 35, is investing at least 15% of our money to retirement. And so me and my husband, I've been married for like 9 years, I think. 9 years? 9 years. And me and my husband are both the same age. He just turned 35. I'll be 35 in a couple weeks. So particularly because we are behind on investing for retirement and we are in our mid-30s, investing at least 15% of our money for retirement for now while we're in debt is a major priority for us. And I would say is the next priority before even debt payoff. Really at our age, because we are behind in investing, we really should be putting more like 20 to 25% of our money towards investing for retirement. I think based on like research I've done and just like different articles I've read, there's a Fidelity article that talks about it that I can try to find and link in the video description. But yeah, if you start investing for retirement more seriously in your 30s, then you really need to be putting more than 15% likely, unless you have like you're a teacher and you're eligible for a pension or something like that. There's tons of exceptions. But for us personally, I know that we should be putting more than 15% to retirement for our long-term strategy. But while we're in debt, it's really important to me that we try to put at least 15% of our money towards investing for retirement. So we do that through a few different ways. We invest through my husband's 401k through his employer. We invest through my Roth IRA, and we invest through an after-tax brokerage account, or actually several different small after-tax brokerage accounts. So those are the three ways we invest. Our investing strategy is really simple. I actually posted a video recently talking about how I invest in my Roth IRA, and I will link that in the video description if you want to check it out. But yeah, some people don't invest for retirement or only get their employer match for their 401k while they are paying off debt. And that's a fine strategy. That's like the Dave Ramsey, if you've heard of Dave Ramsey, he's very big in the personal finance community. He's very anti-debt and putting everything before paying off debt except for your emergency fund. So he would say, get your emergency fund of $1,000, not 1 month of expenses, $1,000, and then put everything else towards debt. Whereas us, we are not doing it that way. That's not the way I prioritize my money, especially at age 35, especially when our debt payoff is going to be a total of 5 years, maybe longer. Okay, so after we have our emergency fund and our sinking funds in good shape, we have 15% going to retirement. The next priority is extra debt payments. And I guess when it comes to debt, I should have said, even before all this, is making your minimum payments. Like that's the, like step 0 is making all your minimum payments, and then step 1 would be the emergency fund. So it's really important to me to make all our minimum payments because I don't want to fall behind. I don't want it to ding our credit score. And yeah, we just need to stay on top of making at least our minimum payments on all of our debts before anything else. But when it comes to making extra debt payments, that's really the last priority. And it's still a big priority. I wouldn't say it's last priority in the list of all the priorities that exist, but for the most important financial priorities, it is number 3 on this list in this like 3 major buckets that I think of. So extra debt payments are the way that we are going to get our debt paid off faster than the payment term. So we have 2 student loans that have payment terms of 10 years, and we are several months into those terms. We keep refinancing, so they keep getting reset, but we kept refinancing because we kept getting lower interest rates on our student loans. So I think we're done refinancing because now interest rates are going up again, and I don't think we'll necessarily be able to get lower. But yeah, hopefully we're done because we refinanced 7 times, I believe. 7 times in 2.5 years. So yeah, anyway, making extra debt payments above and beyond our minimum payments is how we're going to pay off our student loans in less than 10 years. And so that would be our last priority in our major financial priorities, is making those extra debt payments. So if at any point we need to pull back on stuff, the first thing I'm trying to do is pull back on those extra debt payments and then pull back on investing for retirement and really make sure our emergency fund and sinking funds are in good shape. And that's actually what we're having to do for a couple months here. And then I hope to reincorporate investing for retirement and then go back to making extra debt payments as well. But sometimes you need to take a little break, and things ebb and flow over the course of a long debt payoff process. Even a short debt payoff process of like a year or less, things are not going to be the same every single month. So you need to work with the reality of the situation you're in. And so while some months we've been able to pay thousands of dollars extra towards debt, other months we are not going to be paying anything. And I've had to do a little self-talk to come to terms with that, but I've realized like that's just reality, and that is okay. After those 3 major buckets, there are tons of other financial priorities that come after. There's saving for our kids' college funds, there's saving for vacations, there's upgrading our house to a bigger house at some point. Like there's lots of other financial priorities, but in my mind, those are the 3 most important: emergency fund, investing for retirement, and extra debt payments. Like those come first before the other financial priorities. If I was younger, if I was 25, I may be doing this differently. If I were older, if I was 40 or 45, I would probably be doing it differently as well. This is just what works for us at age 35. My husband and I have had extensive conversations talking about our strategy, and this is what we feel comfortable with. That's a good balance to meet all of our financial goals, because as much as I love debt payoff, and that's like my number 1 thing, like in my heart, that I really, really want, in my rational, logical head, I know that investing for retirement for future me is equally, if not more important than rapid debt payoff. And so that's why we have prioritized things in this order at the age we're at. In a couple years, hopefully, at the point when we're debt free, we will be increasing our retirement contributions to that 20 to 25%. At least that's the plan, as soon as our debt's paid off. Right now, we're putting anywhere from 30 to 40% of our gross pay to retirement and debt payoff combined. So once our debt is paid off, it probably won't be that difficult to continue investing for retirement and bumping that up to 20 to 25%, because right now we're putting 30 to 40% of our money towards those 2 priorities, debt payoff and investing. So it would actually be less money overall that we need to put towards financial goals if we only put 20 to 25% to investing after we're debt free. But at the same time, one of the goals of becoming debt free is to increase the amount we're able to put towards fun things like vacations and investing for our children's college education, and just being more giving and all these other types of things. So it's always exciting to look forward to where you'll be at after you push on one set of financial goals and see how things are going to open up for more options and opportunities once you accomplish them. So it's really hard for me because I know once we're debt free, we're going to be able to open things up a lot more. And so I want to put more of our money to debt payoff and not be putting 15% of our money to investing for retirement. But I know 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I'm going to be so glad that we did this. And even if it meant we were in debt for a year or two longer, I'm still gonna be really grateful that we did invest while we were paying off debt. So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you are lost in your own debt payoff journey, I actually just created a debt payoff course called Ditching Your Debt Once and For All. So I will link that in the video description if you want to check it out. I also have a bunch of spreadsheets that I sell on Etsy with personal finance trackers and stuff like that. So I'll link that in the video description if you want to check those out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye.